Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Philosophy at Work Law and Consulting event. And I wanted to thank you all for joining us this evening. We're really excited about our panelists and former philosophy majors who are here to chat with you about their careers in these professions. Just a little quick introduction. My name is Hank Southgate. I am the Philosophy Department Career Advisor. I also teach in the Philosophy Department. And every week I have students come to me asking, what can I do with a major now that I've signed up for a major, or I'm thinking about majoring in philosophy, what can I do with it? And I think one of the best ways of answering that question is to meet with people who themselves were philosophy majors and are now working in enriching career fields that they themselves use their philosophy career degree every day in. And so you can come to me anytime to talk about career advising. You can also work with the folks at SuccessWorks who are here hosting the event along with me this evening. And then, of course, our panelists themselves are here to tell you about what they do, how they got into their fields, what steps you can take. And I think we're in store for a really good session with them this evening. We are going to quickly go through some of the logistics about how this event's going to work tonight. So Mike, if we want to sort of talk about the alumni breakout rooms. So after the alumni introduce themselves, they are going to be in some small groups in breakout rooms. And you'll see there are these alumni biographies and other resources in the chat. And basically the idea is for everybody to spend about 15 minutes or so getting the chance to talk to the alumni and hear about the different sorts of opportunities in their fields. And you can do that, as the little prompt says here, either by mic or in the breakout room chat or whatever modality best suits you. How do you get into the breakout rooms, you ask? Well, Mike is making it easy for us. You will have these different sorts of breakout rooms that you can go to. You simply click on join, although it won't be by Gryffindor and Hufflepuff, although that would be pretty great. Instead, the breakout rooms will be organized a lot more sensibly according to the specific categories of work that they're in. So room 1, law, room 2, taxes, room 3, corporate, and room 4, consulting and management. And we've got 2 to 3 alumni in each of these rooms here to chat with each other and to chat with you about what they are up to. And I think without any further ado, we will begin introducing some of our alumni, beginning with Will Conley. And
hey,
Will's going to say a couple minutes about what he does, and then we'll move on. Thanks, Will.
Sure, and thanks everybody for joining us. It's great to see you, and really looking forward to get to know you all, and even just from having met these other panelists here, I think it'll be a worthwhile. So thanks for joining. Yeah, so I graduated from UW undergrad in 2015, and then I worked at Epic for a year, which I think qualifies as consulting, and then I did 3 years of law school at UW and graduated from UW in 2019. And so I've been an attorney since then. I do a mix of 2 things that aren't related. I do election litigation on voting rights. So if you voted by Dropbox in the past year and you live in Wisconsin, I'm involved in litigation around that. And then I've done the rest of my work, which is the majority of it, is actually related to cryptocurrency and blockchain. So I do tech transactions and regulatory work in crypto for a firm based out of Seattle, but I live here in Madison. So I've had sort of an unusual legal path, but I literally use my philosophy degree every day. I think it's the most useful major you can get unless you want to become an engineer or something. So, and that's also great, but I advocate everybody that I think philosophy is great. I'm happy to talk more about it. So that's me. Look forward to meeting you, and thanks to you all for being here.
Thanks very much, Will. Next in line is Zach Pestine.
Hi, everyone. My name is Zach. I graduated from Wisconsin in 2013 with a double major in philosophy and comm arts. Loved them both. Both super great for critical thinking skills. And if you want to go into law, which like Will, I'm in, it's a really, really great major. I graduated from WashU in St. Louis School of Law in 2016, and since then, I've been an attorney in Chicago. In law school, I focused mostly on labor and employment and civil rights law. And it's been somewhat of a journey. I've gone through a few different kinds of laws in order to get to where I am now. I do practice employment law, but I've also spent a lot of time doing construction law and municipal liability defense, both of which were great. To echo Will, if you want to be an attorney, anything with critical thinking skills, but especially philosophy, where you're learning to argue and you're learning to write, is really a top-notch way to go. If you want to, if you know you, and I can discuss this more at length later, but I think that if you know you want to go into like patent law or construction law or something like that, an engineering degree or a science degree is good as well. But really, your arguing skills are really important. So with that, I'm looking forward to meeting everyone.
I don't think arguing skills are that important.
That's a contentious point there. I guess we'll have to argue about that one. Next in line, we have John Rome.
Hi, everybody. My name is John Rome. I'm a juvenile prosecutor in Dane County. I've been doing that for coming up on 4 years now. I graduated from the UW in 2008 in the heart of the Great Recession with a philosophy and political science degree. I got a job working with kids who are at risk of institutionalization due to really severe behavior. So that's nothing I went to school for. I kind of fell into it. And then I started dating somebody. She said she was going to go to grad school. So I figured I better figure out what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. And I looked into law school and took the LSAT, got into Marquette, and I really focused on labor law while I was in school. I did a little bit, looked into criminal a little bit, took some classes, but I really wanted to do labor law. After graduating, though, I got the opportunity to work for the state, and I'm really happy I took that opportunity. So I guess my career path just goes to show that you don't always have to have a plan to get somewhere good.
I think that's really sage advice there. Thanks very much for that, John. Next, we have Zach Adelsberg.
Hi, everyone. I'm Zach Adelsberg. I'm a 2013 graduate, double majored in philosophy and economics. I took a little bit of a non-traditional path. I went to business school right after undergrad, then sat for the CPA exam, and then I went to law school. After law school, I worked at 2 different Big 4 firms in their M&A tax group, and I'm now currently an in-house tax lawyer on the tax planning team of a fintech company. And as the others have stated, you know, a philosophy degree really goes a long way, especially in problem solving and the analytical thinking. Every job you're going to have to solve problems, and there's no better way to learn than having a philosophy degree. Look forward to meeting all of you.
Thanks very much, Zach. Fritz Fasner.
Yeah, that's good German pronunciation there. So I graduated in 2001 with a philosophy major, and just to kind of echo some things that other people said, I walked out the door and I really didn't know what I was doing, and I sort of I kind of thought, oh man, what am I supposed to do next? And I ended up driving a taxi for Union Cab in Madison while I waited to start law school, which became my backup plan. And so I also went to law school and ended up in New York and started my career with the government, doing tax law with the IRS, and then went back to New York and worked at a law firm. And I've bounced around a little bit, but I mostly work in taxation of financial products, and most of my experience is working with financial institutions. And I see, I just see in the chat, and I wanted to comment that I think it's great that a lot of you, as great as a philosophy major is, and as useful as it is for, I think, all of us in the work that we do, because law is a really cerebral kind of profession. I think it's great that a lot of people have a double major, and I see, especially if for what I do, for example, I wish I had a little bit more of a background in things like accounting or economics, because I've had to learn it on the fly. But the philosophy degree has seen me through to this point.
Thanks so much, Fritz. Yeah, philosophy really is a wonderful complementary major to a wide variety of topics. So that's really great that you all are continuing to do that. Next in line, we have Jeffrey Pugh.
Hey, welcome. So I'm Jeffrey Pierre. I graduated in 2013 with finance and philosophy, and then went immediately to law school. We're in Chicago right now. I kind of have my feet in both buckets. So I'm a full-time consultant, part-time attorney. So full-time, I'm a strategy and consulting manager at Accenture, doing mergers and acquisitions and operating model design and technology for banks and payment companies. But in the legal space, I mainly work with startups doing transactional work, helping companies, startups like restructure from an equity and capital perspective and to kind of structure for growth. I work with like accelerators and also kind of like head of legal of like a technology platform startup. And then recently kind of also pivoted into like the VC space, starting a newly minted venture capital firm. So I have like the consulting full time and then like the legal as well, but very much in the transactional space.
Thanks so much, Jeffrey. Mike Ryder will talk to us next.
Hi, my name is Mike Ryder, and I graduated from the University of Wisconsin undergraduate in 1963. So many years before most of you. I got my law degree and my PhD at the same time at the University of Wisconsin. I left after at law school and went to a large law firm as an associate in Wall Street. And then I came back in the summer of '67 to finish my dissertation, my PhD. I am a trial lawyer, although I've represented clients on appeal as well. But all of what I've done is mostly civil litigation. I've represented a variety of very interesting clients, from the Chicago White Sox to the Museum of Contemporary Art and a variety of others. I also have taught for several years as an adjunct professor of law at Northwestern for 22 years. And I taught for the University of Maryland some philosophy courses. This was the European division, which gave me the opportunity to live 8 months in Spain in 2 cities, 8 months in Turkey in 2 cities, 4 months in Germany in 4 cities, 6 months in what was then Ethiopia, and 2 months in Oslo, Norway. I've had a love affair with the law ever since I graduated law school, and I have a lot to say about the profession itself and the pros and as well as the cons. So I look forward to meeting everybody and talking with you when you have time. Incidentally, I see that I'm in the corporate group, and I really should be in the law group, but so be it.
Thanks very much, Mike. Gosh, that's a lot of exciting stories. Makes me kind of doubt my career choices. Look forward to hearing from you. Next in line, we have Tomer Stein.
Thank you. It's very nice to be here. I'm a 2015 graduate, and I'm familiar with some of the faces in the alumni group, which is nice. And really looking forward to meeting you all. So I'm very passionate about the philosophy degree, and I'm very passionate about the UW-Madison philosophy department in particular. I felt that it really set me up for a really great career. After college, I went to law school in Texas, in the University of Texas at Austin, and then went to do transactional work, which I think philosophy majors tend to think that they're not equipped to do, but that's not true. As I went to do transactional work in New York, a big firm. I was doing IPOs, debt and equity offerings. And I then proceeded to take another unconventional step, and I went into academia, and I'm now a visiting assistant professor, which is sort of the beginning phase of an academic career in law. And now I get to cite philosophers from time and time again. So looking forward to our discussion.
Looking forward to it as well. Thanks so much, Tomer. Next, we have Mark Donahue.
Hey, good evening. Mark Donahue, 2010 graduate, philosophy and economics. So first, my comment earlier about arguing skills not being important purely in jest, because the idea of arguing about that matter just seems hilarious. It is very important. And the ability to draw a logical conclusion based on sound logic and organized premises, and that is incredibly valuable in practice. So while I got an economics degree and that was a foot in the door, I actually started my career in wealth management managing money for families worth over $100 million. I became a securities trader and didn't want to keep doing that. So I pivoted to AT&T and then again pivoted to software and product development, and have been in consulting for 5 years doing that. So every day people are making statements that may or may not be following sound logic, and you really need to pry into that. And in terms of practicing philosophy, a few things stand out from undergrad, which is epistemology, if anyone hasn't gotten there yet, the study of knowledge, and justified true beliefs, and a broken clock is right twice a day by accident. So what can you really have confidence in the real world? That's how business decisions are made, is confidence and the ability to have certainty in taking certain paths and directions. So all that is philosophy, and it's incredibly valuable. So what we do in consulting is software and product development for large corporations. McDonald's, Discover Financial, a lot in the Chicago area are our clients. And we take on big projects and deliver business goals through software. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. So excited to talk more about that.
Yeah, we're excited learning about more what you do in consulting. Thanks very much, Mark. Andrew Greenseld.
Hi. So I left Madison in 1995, and I was pre-med at the time, and that didn't work out. Advanced cellular biology did me in. So I left with a philosophy degree and no plan. And I ended up, I was a ski bum, and then I went to work in Israel building websites with this fancy thing called HTML that nobody had ever heard of back in the summer of '96. And then moved to San Francisco and was a network administrator, and then fell into a finance job, moved to the Twin Cities, and ended up working for Best Buy, and really was trained without a finance background to answer one question: should Best Buy build a store here? And here was different. It was in Hawaii, it was in New York, it was in New Orleans, it was all over. And I did that for a few years. And then I had this great job, and people would say, should we build a store here? And I would say yes or no, but I couldn't answer any other question. And so I ended up going back to grad school to get my MBA, to get all the knowledge that people already assumed I had because I had this great job. After that, I ended up bouncing around a little bit, and I changed jobs every few years, just gathering a whole host of experiences working for large companies like Northwest Airlines and United Healthcare, and schools and startups and software companies, and really just gaining as much knowledge and experience as I could. And then in 2010, I started my own consulting practice, trying to leverage the knowledge and power of Fortune 500 companies and bring them to small businesses. Really, the goal was to help people understand the financial implications of decisions they're about to make through financial modeling. And I did that for 9 years. While that sounds good in practice, in reality, I was oftentimes, you have to fill a role. So I was a part-time temporary chief financial officer because of all the different experiences I had in corporate finance. And then I signed on with one of my clients. And now I am the CFO of a different consulting firm that does psychological assessments for large, I can't name them, large companies you have all heard of, to determine who has the best leadership qualities for a particular role. And we do large scale development, leadership development programs. But I don't deal with clients anymore. I'm all corporate back of the house stuff.
A lot of different roles that you've had over the years. That's really neat. Thank you, Andrew. And finally, we have Daniel Kinney.
Hi, nice to meet everyone. I'm a 2006 graduate, dual degrees in philosophy and English. Like a number of people on the Zoom, I really had no idea going into undergrad what I wanted to do with my life. I just sort of enrolled in classes that were interesting to me. And I guess, talking about Spinoza at cocktail parties sounded kind of fun at the time. So I just sort of pursued the classes that were of interest. And after graduating, I was really interested in entertainment and media. So I moved to New York. I enrolled at NYU, studied publishing. This was at the time sort of the pinnacle of print publishing. Devil Wears Prada had just come out. Everybody wanted to work for Condé Nast, and I kind of thought at the time I'd be the editor-in-chief of Vanity Fair. That kind of fell through in 2008 when everything fell apart and print sort of started to come apart, and old media started to, suffer the earthquakes of the digital age, really kind of going mainstream. So I sort of pivoted and stayed in entertainment, but went to work representing clients. So became a talent agent and worked at 2 different talent firms, worked as a talent manager for a number of years, and also went back into media, working at Spin and working at American Express Publishing before finally landing at Rock Nation. And I think the intersection of media, entertainment was always sort of the through line of my career. And I'm excited to speak to everybody. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Daniel. Well, I think we have a really wonderful set of people to talk to in these different breakout rooms. And so without any further ado, I think Mike is going to break us up into the different rooms, and I wish you all pleasant conversations. And thank you once again to all of our panelists. Really appreciate you being here with us this evening.